Mr. Gerry here now, talking to more of the upper elementary groups and the adolescent groups. Those that were taking the guitar classes. What you want to make sure you're brushing up on and that you are practicing all the time is, of course, first of all, remembering the names of the strings. 1 is your treble string. 6 is your bass string. Treble means high notes. High note. And the bass strings down here are the low notes. Low notes, okay? And so I think you can fill in the blanks as far as where 2, 3, 4, and 5 are. So now, of course, you know, the metal frets are called, these metal bars are called the frets. And we have our first fret position, second, third, fourth, and this is how we find our way around the neck. Now, when we remember that the names of our strings are E, B, G, D, A, and E, and we remember that in music, and this is all music, doesn't matter what musical instrument it is, that you have half steps, meaning on the guitar, the very next fret, between the notes B and C and the notes E and F. And so, for example, if I'm on my first string E, the next note F is the very first fret because E to F is a half step. Now G is a whole step, and A is a whole step, and B is a whole step, but C is a half step. It's the very next fret. Then when I'm at C, I go a whole step up to D and a whole step up to E. And then I've gone to my 12th fret, which is my octave on the guitar. So no matter where you play on your 12th fret, it's an octave above that string. E, octave, B, octave, G, octave, D, octave, A, octave, E, octave on your 12th fret. So everything above the 12th fret is just a repeat of what we've already learned down here, depending on how many extra frets you have up there. So now, knowing that, you are reviewing one more time where all of your notes are. So starting on your low E string, you have E, F, G, and when you get to the 5th fret A, that's also where your 5th string is tuned. So we're just going to not go up to the 5th fret. We're going to go to the next string where the actual next note is on that string. So we have E open, F first, G third, A 5th string open, B 5th string 2nd fret because it's a whole step above A, so there's 2 frets. C is the 3rd fret because it's 1 fret above B, and then D is on the 4th string, and E is on the 2nd fret because there's a whole step up there. F is the very next fret, the 3rd fret. G is your open 3rd string. A is your 2nd fret. Now, this is the only string that really only has 2 separate notes on it, and that's because we remember that the 3rd string, which is G and A and B, we tuned the 2nd string to the note on the 4th fret rather than up to the 5th fret, which is C. And that's a really cool thing to remember because that opens up a whole lot more things later on as far as understanding patterns on the whole guitar. So when we go to the 2nd string B, we have the 1st fret C and the 3rd fret D, and now our open 1st string E and the 1st fret F and the 3rd fret G, and then of course we can go A, B, C, D, all the way up again. So when we remember these notes, we then remember how to put the notes together to either become scales, such as C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, well, whatever, okay. And so those are the things that were all in the books, and I guess what I'm going to have to do is maybe try to get some of those books to you now that you're at home. So when we get the notes, the next thing we remember doing was how we put the notes together. We put the first note, C, we skip D, and we go to the 3rd note, E, we skip the 4th note, F, and we go to the 5th note, G, and notes 1, 3, and 5 in your scale are where your chords come from. So we have, when we find the C's and the E's and the G's and the C's and the E's all in one position where we can put our 4 fingers, that becomes our C chord. And D, F, A becomes our D minor chord. And E, G, B becomes our E minor chord. And FAC becomes the dreaded F chord that is a bar chord, and it's one of the hardest chords to play on the guitar for a beginner, so you just got to practice all this. Or we learn to just play FAC, and we play these three notes like that, which we can get away with. You know. And if you're really cool, you can reach your thumb around here and play the low F like that, okay? And then we have G, B, D for G, and A, C, E for the A minor. Now, the 7th chord, which is the diminished chord, it's really a strange chord because you don't really hear it a lot, unless, of course, you know, you're playing Beatles songs because they play everything. They're masters of music. But a B diminished chord is B, D, F, but then there's an A flat in there as well in order to give it the full diminished thing. So if you were to play a diminished chord like that, you know, it's kind of that weird sounding. Remember, like when I go, if you or someone in your family is having a birthday in April, please stand up. And we do that in class as well. Okay. So that's the diminished chord. So that's where our chords come from. So now you look at all the little section on chords, and we just practice putting our fingers on those chords. And then we look at the exercises below that to start put some chords together. And that's really what songs are all about. You know, music is really about the chord and the progression of chords as opposed to the individual notes. Because the individual notes is what you sing. La, you know. So if I'm going to sing something like, if I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, I'd hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd hammer out danger, I'd hammer out warning, I'd hammer out the love between my brothers and the sisters all over this land. Oh, 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 oh. If I had a bell, I'd ring it in the morning, I'd ring it in the evening, all over this land. I'd ring out danger, I'd ring out warning, I'd ring out the love between my brothers and the sisters all over this land. Oh, 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 oh. If I had a song, I'd sing it in the morning, I'd sing it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sing out danger, I'd sing out a warning, I'd sing out the love between my brothers and the sisters all over this land. Whoa, 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 whoa. Well, I've got a hammer, and I've got a bell, and I've got a song to sing all over this land. It's the hammer of danger. No, it's not the hammer of danger. It's the hammer of justice. It's the bell of freedom. And it's a song about the love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. Whoa, whoa. So you see, most of the musicians that you're probably familiar with accompany their playing with either their voice or someone else singing, or maybe another instrument playing the music. Now, when you have an instrument that's capable of playing more than one note at a time, such as a guitar or a keyboard, then you see, what we want to do is add the harmony to what's being played in the melody. You know, those single notes like that become the melody, but the harmony is when we add all the other notes in our chord that harmonize with that melodic note. So that's why it's really, really important not just to warm up on your notes, but to practice those chords. Now, one of the things that we learned right away is that for the guitar, the easiest chord key is the key of G. So we have G and C and D, because there aren't a whole lot of crazy chords in there except for the B minor, but then we were just about to get into that one here. So see, the key of G for the guitar is one of the more popular ones, because you can keep these two fingers, you can keep fingers 3 and 4 on the 3rd fret of the 1st and 2nd strings. And by adding your 1st and 2nd fingers, that's your pointer and your middle finger, on the 5th string 2nd fret and 6th string 3rd fret, that becomes your G chord. And then just move those same two fingers across the strings so that your first finger is now on the 4th string 2nd fret, and your middle finger is now on the 5th string 3rd fret, and that's a C that we also call add 9. It's a type of a C chord. And if we take those two fingers now and take the first finger, which is your pointer, on the 5th string 2nd fret, and right underneath it you put your middle finger, which is your 2nd finger, on the 4th string 2nd fret, now you have an E minor 7 chord, like that. And then, of course, if you take your first finger and just put it on the 3rd string 2nd fret, keep those other two fingers there, you have what's called a D suspended 4 chord. And then to resolve that, what you do is you lift your pinky and you put your 2nd finger on the 1st string 2nd fret, and that's your regular D major chord. And there are literally hundreds and hundreds of songs, especially in modern music, that use the G and the C, and the E minor, and the D, or they go C, and G, and E, to D, or they'll go D, to C, to G, to D, and they just change the order of those same 4 chords. And with those 4 chords, you literally have just hundreds and hundreds of songs that you can play. So while you're sitting at home, and I don't know, about you guys, but I know I'm kept kind of busy over here and doing lots of things that I need to do. But if you have absolutely nothing to do but practice that guitar, then take it out and get your fingers on those strings so that your fingers don't hurt more. You got to get their fingers, you got to press them down and get those notes sounding nice and clear. And remember, when you play a chord, you want to make sure that none of your fingers are leaning over and touching one of the other strings. If this finger right here, for example, was leaning across like that, see, then it's going to mute that next string. So that's why we bring our hand, see, around like this, so that your fingers can point straight down into the string and they're clearing all the other strings. So, guitar lesson number 1, over and out. Practice, and you can let me know through the Keystone email or anything else with any questions you may have, or even if you want me to come up with a certain song that we were going to be learning, and we can maybe do it on a video lesson like this. So have a great day, everybody that's doing one of the guitar classes, and that, of course, whether it's after school or even the upper elementaries that are doing the guitar classes. Thank you again. I hope you're all having fun being at home and just being with everybody. I know it's been kind of different for me. Been a lot of things happening on here. But in either case, just use this time wisely. And just remember how just really, it's a different environment that we're all in, but we learn to make the best of it so that we can all come out better for this thing. So keep yourself healthy, keep yourself strong, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.